Um, all right. Um, Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Okay, I'm gonna call attendance. I'm gonna start with roll call. Kelly Cox,
Here.
Madison Fleming,
Here.
Maya Freitas,
Here.
Noah Gubin,
I'm here.
Layla Hilden, Layla Hilden, Jayla Jackson, Jayla Jackson. Okay. Leah Irving, Janine Jackson, Kiera Johnson, Peyton Kitchen,
Here.
Needy, Rishi, I'm here. Priya, Olivia,
I'm here.
Thomas.
Here.
Did I miss anybody's name or did anybody join?
Like you got everybody, and we have a quorum.
Okay. Your screen is black, Robert.
Give me 1 second here. Let me change it here. I'm gonna have to reshare. You can go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, would be our minutes from our last meeting.
It was up. You just took it down. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, just move it down to the next item.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
Okay, would anybody like to do the opening invocation? You just come off mute. Robert, would you mind doing the opening invocation?
Yes, I do not mind that at all. If everyone can bow their heads and join with me in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for all of the great work you've done for this council, being able to have these students come together and work together and build coalition and power for students that are passionate about issues all across Wayne County, whether that's from Southgate to Livonia or Canton to Detroit. We all have a voice here in this county, and we ask that we bless us and keep us in prayer as we go on to be able to fight for issues that students are very passionate about and continuing this great work and guidance on their behalf. And we do this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Next on our list is the approval of the minutes from the January 25th, 2024 meeting. Can someone make a motion to approve those minutes, please?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Does anyone second?
I second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
Motion
Okay.
carries.
Thank you. Next is our 10-minute speaker series. Our guest speaker is Michigan Senator Mary Cavanaugh. I believe that's how you say it.
Madam Chair, we're actually going to go out of order on our agenda to be mindful of time for our clerk. So thank you, Senator, for joining us. We're going to do our presentation with our clerk first, and then we will have you speak to our students right after. So thank you for being patient with us. And Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to go off and start our presentation.
Okay, so next we'll have our presentation, How to Be a Precinct Delegate in Your Community by Wayne County Commission Youth Council Legislative Aide Robert Pawlowski and Speaker Wayne County Clerk Kathy M. Garrett.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for the introduction. I am going to actually be introducing our clerk. Kathy M. Garrett is the Wayne County Clerk. She is the clerk that ran for re-election in Michigan in November 3rd. She won her first term and she has got her second term, and she won the general election back on November 3rd of 2020. Her term ends on January 1st, 2025, and she is the main person for all county business when it comes to registering to vote or local issues that matter, from death certificates to court-related matters. With that, the basis on this presentation tonight is to focus on how to be a precinct delegate. And I'll also indicate that as an example, I am looking to be a precinct delegate in my community in Southgate. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to our clerk for our presentation this evening.
Hi, Robert. This is Oz from Wayne County Clerk's Office. Ms. Garrett has stepped out for a bit. Go see if I can retrieve her.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, we can go back to Senator Kavanaugh while we're waiting on Ms. Garrett to join us.
Okay. So back on schedule, I guess. So now I'll be introducing our guest speaker, Michigan Senator Mary Kavanaugh from District 6.
Hi, good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate it, and I know Kathy Garrett is doing a lot of wonderful things. So understand that she's super busy and would love to even receive my time if it allows, if she jumps on. So just wanted to give that caveat. Hi, my name is Mary Kavanaugh. I am the state senator for District 6. So that includes all of Redford Township, a big portion of Northwest Detroit. It includes about 70% of Livonia, all of Farmington, Farmington Hills. So I stretch all the way from Northwest Detroit to Farmington Hills. So it's about 280,000 people that I represent. This is me serving my first term. I'm in my second year of my first term. Unlike House representatives, senators get to serve 4 terms. And prior to serving in the Senate, I was State House representative for Redford Township in Northwest Detroit. So I'm very, very glad and honored that you guys asked me to be on here today. I know a little bit of supplemental questions were provided on little topics that you guys wanted me to cover. And Robert, looking to you, do you want me to just flow through them, or is it a little bit more of a Q&A?
So we're going to have Q&A after your kind of presentation that we had sent you. So there was a list of questions that we had sent over to you. If you need me to read them over, I can do that for you if you don't have them in front of you.
Yep, I have the questions right here in front of me, so I'll just run through them.
I have to pull them up.
Yeah, so the first is what would you tell your younger self if you were in high school to prepare for who you are now? One, I just want to say I love all of the questions that you guys provided me. It actually, during my busy work in Lansing, it made me take a second and think about what would I say to my younger self? And I actually got a little sentimental in the conversation with myself, just because I think the one thing that popped in my head first was I would tell my younger self to be nicer, to be more patient, more loving, more understanding, give grace, and no one is perfect. So I grew up in a political family. And so that had a little bit of expectations of what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, as well as almost having so much potential thrown on me that when it came to grades, when it came to my behavior, there was a lot of conversations around me and with my parents of how great I could be. And so it seemed to almost have me hold myself up to that expectation. And oftentimes it is something that really excelled me in my schooling and even in my life as I sit here as a state senator. But it also really hindered me as a child of, or even as a high schooler, of figuring out that no one is perfect, that if I don't get an A or if I don't get a B, like it isn't going to be the end of the world. It's really just trying my best. And even if it fails or I have 10 step backwards, it's taking that next step forward. And especially telling my younger self is figuring out what makes my heart soar. And when you figure that out, do that often. So I have figured out a little bit late in life of what hobbies are. And it's not necessarily work, and it's not necessarily like my checklist that I go through all day. It's really what I enjoy doing. And for example, excuse me, I really enjoy hiking and reading and even the occasional binge watching. And it's not having the guilt during those times of, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. I was very critical of myself when I was younger and growing up about my appearance and raising my own standards. And so I do think that that is the number one thing I would tell, is that not only my younger self, but even younger people today. I mean, with social media that wasn't around like it was when I was growing up, having cell phones and being able to search things and seeing other people's lives from across the world. There's a lot of expectations that come up with that, and a lot of things that people compare themselves. And so I feel like now more than ever, it's knowing that no one is perfect, and to be patient with yourself, and sometimes go offline, figure out what you like to do that isn't on social media or watching TV, and just exploring the world and yourself for what it is. And then you guys did ask me about what was my greatest setback and how did I overcome it. So I did have to think about this too, because I will be frank, there were so many. I think change and positive outcomes comes when you do have setbacks, when you do something comes up and you have a path or a choice to choose of getting up and brushing yourself off and moving forward, or a different way of making sure that you don't repeat. And so I think the first thing that came to mind immediately was that I'd have to say my undergraduate path, from when I graduated high school to when I graduated Wayne State University. I started at Michigan State, I transferred to Wayne State, I changed my major 6 to 7 times. I took a break because I had to work and pay my way through school. And I didn't finish school until 10 years later. And I personally don't see this as a setback, but I am seeing this in my life and in my position as a legislator, that America and modern ideals is that there's this picture of traditional education path. Either you go to college, you go for 4 years, and you get a certificate, or you go into the trades, and what it should and shouldn't look like. And I would probably say that that one size approach isn't accurate. I think people can thrive in educational environment. And I honestly would not be the person I am today if I were to take in that path. I had twin older sisters who were 10 months older than me. They went to Michigan, they graduated in 4 years, and they did all of the checked boxes. And so I think my biggest setback was just trying to figure out where my vision is about my life and my goals. And I don't think that every 18-year-old or even 17-year-old, I even say in my life and personal experience, 19, 20 years old, has this projection of exactly what you want to be, your future looks like. And I think I'm living proof that even if you don't follow the traditional education path, you can still have success and a fulfilled professional achievement. it's because I never stopped heading in the direction I liked. I would volunteer. I'd feel that love of giving back to my community, to my constituents, to my friends, and how important it was to get involved. And I just let that path guide me. And it happened to look like 10 years of undergrad. And let's just say, it's great to have those experiences, but it's also really okay to take some time off. I wouldn't have as much student loans if I just took a minute and focused on what I want to see in myself and where I wanted to go and have goals and expectations. And I do think that's particularly important of how I'm even serving in the legislature. As I serve as senator, I serve on budget committees. And one of the programs that I have funded last year was the Michigan Reconnect. And that's a tuition-free 21 plus that you can either get a free tuition at a college university, a community college, or a certificate program. And so that's really helping people that wanted to go back to school but can't afford it because there are astronomical prices in tuition. And so I do feel like that also wraps their arms around people that do not fit that four-year educational model. So that was just a little bit of an example of how I carry my experience into what I'm doing now. I particularly, I know I say I like all of these questions, but when I'm in my work environment, I'm thinking of policy and legislation. And when you guys sent me those questions, it really made me think about myself. And so that was really interesting. So I know 10 minutes, so I'm wrapping up. What would you do if you weren't afraid? And first thing was afraid of what? And I think that was the exact question you guys are asking. And it's not only what am I afraid of, is how am I solving that fear? And also what would happen if you didn't have that fear that I feel in my example that I get into, that I created for myself. Like I created a fear that really doesn't exist. And I had gone through that entire experience serving as a legislator, having that fear, letting it control me, but then realizing that what if I wasn't afraid? So I am the youngest woman serving and ever elected to the Michigan State Senate, as well as the youngest Latina ever elected to the Michigan State Senate. And the majority of my colleagues are older than me, they're white, and they're male. We do have the first majority women caucus in the Democratic side, but on the other side and as a whole, I'm serving with white older males, and serving in this chamber has really forced me to overcome my fear of not belonging or feeling like I don't belong in the rooms where the decisions are made. I thought I had to overcompensate. I had to read bills all night. I had to do more than what my colleagues are doing. Not only did I have to read the bill, I had to research, I had to be the expert. And I felt like I had to justify my place just to be in that chamber, just to be in that room, and just to use my voice and my story and my experience and overcompensate to where I felt worthy of being heard. And so when you're put in a situation like this, where you have people that voted for you, constituents, friends, family, community members, and neighbors on both sides of the aisle in that room, you represent them and their voice. And I had to get over that fear. I had to get over the fear that I didn't belong there because I am a Latina, I am a woman, I am a young generational voice that belongs in these rooms and parts of these decisions that will be in my life, in my future life, in my potential future kids' life. And so I fight every day for the community and every day to claim my seat at the table and make sure not only my voice is heard, but everyone I represent, all of that 280,000 people.
Thank you so much, Senator, for that. That seems, it's really enlightening for our students, especially ones that do want to get into politics, because, you know, that's a mode of encouragement for most students these days. They want to feel included and they feel like their voice isn't heard. So that's something they can really learn from you. And we appreciate you coming and speaking Unfortunately, we do not have time for Q&A just because we have the clerk that's waiting for us to speak. But if anyone has any questions, we would be interested if you could send those to the senator in an email and she can get back with you on that. Would that be something you'd be interested in doing, Senator?
Absolutely. I'll even make sure I stick around with the chat. Anything comes up, I'll make sure that it gets back around. And I also have internship opportunities. So always open for conversation. Thanks, Robert. And thank you, Commissioner Baker McCormick, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Senator. Madam Chair, I'm going to pass it over to you to kick it off to our next speaker.
Yes, thank you again, Senator. Our next speaker will be a presentation, How to Be a Precinct Delegate in Your Community by the legislative aid, by Robert Pawlowski, and our speaker, Wayne County Clerk Kathy M. Garrett. You guys can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm going to make this bio very short just because I couldn't really find much. But Kathy Garrett is the Wayne County Clerk for this county, and her current term, she's currently in her re-election term, which will end on January 1st, 2025. She won in the general election in November 3rd of 2020. And one of her main objectives is making sure everything in the county is good when it comes to death records, court-related cases, but also for people that are interested in registering to vote or being a precinct delegate. That is one of the main things that she is in charge of, which leads me to, as an example, I'm looking to be a precinct delegate. And one of the things that we're going to learn tonight is how to be a precinct delegate in your community. And we're going to go over all the basics and kind of logistics of how to get involved with that process and how you can run to actually have your name on the ballot in your own community. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to our Wayne County Clerk, Kathy M. Garrett, for our presentation on how to be a precinct delegate tonight. Madam Clerk, you may get started whenever you'd like.
Good evening to you, Robert, and to the entire council. Let me first say that I am so excited that you invited me to participate. And I know it might sound corny, but I feel like I'm in a good place because you guys are my future. So this is wonderful to be engaged in your civic duty this early on. And I heard you say something about, for those that would think about going into an elected office, what a platform to be on to do something like that. Your prayer was powerful. I stepped out after that because I thought the senator was speaking first, so forgive me. But let me get on for my 10 minutes, if that much. For a precinct delegate, and I personally look at precinct delegates as the true public servants for their community. And the qualifications to become a precinct delegate, you must be at least 18 years of age, a registered voter, and then you would run in the county and the district, the precinct in which you live in. So since this is Wayne County, if you live in the 12th congressional district, the 13th, the 11th, or whatever, you would have to run for your district, your congressional district. And it would be in the precinct in which you live in. And you also would have to run based on your political party. And once you have filled out an affidavit, which must be notarized, and those affidavits are available online, WayneCountyClerk.com, elections. You can pull an affidavit. It must be completely filled out and notarized. The filing deadline is May the 7th. Should you change your mind that you don't want to do it, the withdrawal date is May the 10th. But once that application is submitted to the county clerk's office, whether you come in personally, or a lot of times there's various groups such as at congressional districts, once those applications come to the clerk's office by May the 7th, your name will be printed on the ballot in this upcoming August election. Precinct delegates are elected every 2 years. This is the year for that. Why would you want to be a precinct delegate? Because you care about your community, you care about your precinct that you live in, and your responsibility would be to attend those congressional meetings and take back information to your precinct. Also bring information or concerns from your precinct to your meetings to share with the Congress people and those officers at the meeting and the everyone as a whole. How do you do that? I think, well, I was a precinct delegate from the time of being 18 up until I got elected as county clerk. I gave that spot up for someone else to be elected for it, but I would go to community meetings. I would go to my congressional district meetings so that I could be firsthand informed of everything that's going on that impacts my community. Then in turn, I would, with a person that worked in a precinct that was very close to mine, we joined together. We would drop off newsletters at our neighbors' doors and just inform them of everything that's going on. So pretty much, as I said, you are a true public servant because there's no paycheck connected to that. But especially for a group like this, I think that probably quite a few of you, the fact that you're engaged in this process, you probably will be wind up being commissioners and state reps and county clerks and whatever, but the precinct delegate is the true public servant. I don't know, that's the long and the short of how you become one, why you would want to be one, and what you need to do to apply to be a precinct delegate. So do you have questions for me, Robert?
I actually have two questions for you. So most of our students are from all around the county, exactly for their community. So just to kind of have some clarification here, where would a student go for if they wanted to be a precinct delegate? Would they go to their city hall to do that, or would they go to the county's office, the county clerk's office?
I would suggest that you come to the county clerk's office. That way you have supplied your application right where it belongs to make sure that you will be printed on the ballot. So come down to the Wayne County Clerk's office and apply. And we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30.
Awesome. And I got one more question for you. So do we have any information, because I know our students are going to really take this and look it over after today's meeting. Is there any information that we could pass along to them if they'd be interested in running for a precinct delegate once they turn 18?
Any information?
Any information that might be easy to send out to them?
How about this? I do have a pamphlet, and if I could forward it to you, and then you could distribute it to the council. And I will do that as soon as tomorrow morning.
That works great. And those are my questions. I want to pass it over to our members. Does any members have any questions for our clerk here tonight on how to be a precinct delegate? Madam Chair, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. The speaker was very informational. I really appreciated that. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. And just to wrap up this presentation, if anyone's interested in public office, and I know a lot of our members are interested in public service, being here, you know, kind of just being a member and contributing to their community. So we really appreciate you coming down and delivering this informative information to our students. They will definitely take this in consideration. And, you know, this is one thing for all members. If you're interested in politics, being a precinct delegate is where you get started. And I know I saw Senator Kavanaugh in the chat, kind of, this is how I started when I ran for office. So you start small, whether that's a precinct delegate running for school board, or maybe even just helping out on a campaign. Either or, you are starting to contribute to your community, and being a precinct delegate is one of the ways to do that. So Ms. Garrett, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate you speaking to our students. I do look forward to your email, and our students are definitely look forward to that information you'll pass over to us.
I thank you for having me. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Sure, you may kick it off to our next agenda item.
All right, our next item is old business, starting with the discussion of our book reading assignment, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Sorry. Yeah, would anybody like to start that off?
This is my role. So for this discussion, I will actually take over for this. I will actually ask you guys a round of questions. I'm going to keep them short and simple. I'm not going to put you guys on spotlight, but I will be asking kind of some, maybe 6 or 7 questions at the latest to see kind of what you learned from this book and how it, worked out in your favor, or what did you learn that you can apply into your life skills after reading this book. So first question, I'm just going to point it out. Who actually read the book? If you could raise your hand or come off mute or even put it in the chat, that'd be really helpful. Okay, Kelly. Zion. Not seeing anybody else. Olivia. Noah. Thomas, somewhat. All right, perfect. This is great. All right, so I'm just going to kick it off, and I think this is one of the easiest questions in the book. So does anyone know what the main topic of habit 1 was?
Be proactive.
You are correct. Great job, Thomas. All right, let's skip it around here. All right. And what is one thing that happened in habit 4? We'll just kind of skip around here. Does anyone know what happened in habit 4? I know some of you read the book.
Yeah, it's basically about like how you approach relationships. I think it was like the pie reference where it's like there's enough pie to go around for everybody, where you don't always have to feel like you're losing or trying to intentionally make another person lose.
Right. All right, I'm gonna do my check. Can everyone hear me? Just for everyone, because it seems like I'm going in and out.
Yeah, you are going in and out, but we can hear you.
Okay. All right, I'll do the best I can with the limited bandwidth and computer space I have here. So I'll kind of bump it down to at least 5 questions for you guys. So one of the sections in the book asks, what are some of the deposits to your personal bank account? Does anyone know exactly the answer to that one or what chapter that was?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
What are some deposits to your personal bank account? Does anyone know the answer to that question or what chapter it was? If nobody knows, that's okay. Seeing none. One of the sections that was there was keeping, oh, there's somebody speaking.
I believe the personal bank account was in like the first section of the book. I have it right here with me. It's page 31.
All right. Do you want to read it off or do you want to have me read it off? It makes it easier for you, Noah.
If you don't mind, you can go ahead.
So the answer to that question, well, that just tells me that you you read it through, but kind of the main question to that is keeping promises, magnifying your talent, acts of kindness towards others, being honest, being able to renew yourself and recharge yourself, and being gentle on yourself. So the deposits that you make on your personal banking account is more of responsibility, but also keeping yourself with life goals. So one of the things, and I'm going to go on a more personal note to kind of pass over to you guys. The best way to make deposits, whether you're working or you're making money through your parents or you have an allowance, making sure you have responsibility and keeping those promises. So if you have bills that you have to pay, you're going to have to be able to save or put a portion of money off to the side. And there's also things opening a savings account that will also benefit to you as well. But also kind of passing over is kind of the section of this book, and I'm going to kind of reiterate this. If anyone could read off one of the sections of the book that they thought was the most important in this page, that would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to actually give it to Noah to see if he can kind of give us a little taste of this book and what really inspired him throughout that one page or that one chapter.
So I feel like the thing that I really resonated with was the section where you should be gentle with yourself, because I know, much like everyone around me, especially in the youth, we can be very hard on ourselves. So you just want me to read it out?
Yeah, if you could, actually. That works great.
Being gentle means many things. It means not expecting yourself to be perfect by tomorrow morning. If you're a late bloomer, as many of us are, be patient and allow yourself enough time to grow. It means learning to laugh at the stupid things you do. I have a friend, Chuck, who's extraordinary when it comes to laughing at himself and never taking life too seriously. I've always been amazed at how his upbeat attitude attracts people to him almost magnetically. Being gentle also means forgiving yourself when you mess up. And who hasn't done that? We should learn from our mistakes, but we shouldn't beat ourselves up over them. The past is just that, past. Consider what went wrong and why. Learn and make amends if you need to, then drop it and move on. Throw that voodoo doll out with the trash. One of the keys to happiness, says Rita Mae Brown, is a bad memory. A ship at sea for many years picks up thousands of barnacles that attach themselves to the bottom of the ship and eventually weigh it down, becoming a threat to its safety. The easiest way to get rid of them is for the ship to harbor in a freshwater port, free of salt water. Here, the barnacles loosen on their own and fall off. The ship is then able to return to sea, relieved of its burden. Are you carrying around barnacles in the form of mistakes, regrets, and pain from the past? Perhaps you need to allow yourself to soak in fresh water for a while. Hit the refresh button. Letting go of a burden and giving yourself a second chance may just be the deposit you need right now. As Bruno Mars sings, life's too short to have regrets. Only have one life to live, so you only have one life to live, so you better make the best of it.
Does anyone have any thoughts on what Noah read?
I had highlighted like the same part or same page in my book. I thought that was something I could also being very excited certain things.
Okay. Yeah, and no, I think that was not just one of the modes of empowerment, and that's I think one of the pages that stuck out to me the most. And part of the thing with this book that we're reading this is with teens these days, there's not a lot of resources for them to help and be able to go on and do things on their own. We all make bad decisions here, whether we were in middle school, whether we were in high school, or as a young adult. We all make mistakes, and sometimes there's always ways to contribute to that. Because of my network going in and out, I'm going to ask one more question from all of you guys, and then we can move on to our next agenda item. I'm not going to beat you guys up tonight just because, some of you read the book, some of you read half of it, so I don't want to ask questions out to some folks if they don't have a specific answer. See, I have a whole list of questions here, so this is kind of why I didn't want to read all these to you guys. I'll kind of tie this in. What does self-awareness mean? What does coincidence mean? And what does imagination mean? if anyone would like to kind of unmute or one of those questions or even tie it in, that would be great. So I'm going to pass the mic over to somebody that'd be interested in kind of answering those questions.
I can go ahead and answer what self-awareness might mean, especially to me. I feel like being self-aware is not only paying attention to how you choose to spend your day, but I also think a big part of it is how you treat everyone around you. I feel like it's incredibly important to be self-aware of how you just interact with everyone you see, daily. I think just having a mindset where you should just be kind no matter what to everyone around you can really change somebody's day. And I feel like that's what really makes a person. And self-awareness is just how you treat those around you.
Thank you, Noah, for that. That's a really good answer. Is anyone interested in answering what coincidence means?
Did you say coincidence?
Yeah.
It's like something that happens like at the same time, like it's like kind of like unexpected in a way. Yeah, if that makes sense.
That's the short way of putting it, but Madison, you were right on point. So the whole point with coincidence is having your surroundings. You never know what's going to happen at any point in time. And it's not just good to have your guard up, but it's always good to have a sense of you never know what's going to happen. In these days amongst teenagers, you never know what's going to happen. It all comes down to what you put yourself to. And if it happens at the same time, or maybe somebody else, just an example, if someone got a job position at the same time you did, and it was the same position you were getting hired for, you never know. And that's one thing us as teenagers and young adults have to do, is we have to have our guard up sometimes, because you never know what's going to happen. But it's always good to let loose and kind of say, hey, not everything requires, a sense of seriousness. But it's always good to be serious and always ask yourself, do I want to be a better person, or do I want to be even more of a better person? And this is what this book kind of gears to. And one of my last questions for any members, which Olivia already answered it in the chat, so I'll let it slide tonight. No one's gonna this one. So I'll read off her answer, actually, just to make everybody clear. Let's see. Imagination means that you keep an open mind and are always able to see multiple sides of a situation. But you are also able to see a new way of thinking and think outside the box. That is, I think, one of the best answers I've heard all night. Because us as teenagers, we understand one thing. Teenagers are not just the future of this generation. We are empowering our generations ahead of us to say, hey, we want certain things, whether that's, I'll throw out a couple examples. And, this is going back to previous resolutions and our current resolution. We want legislation, or we want ordinances recognizing the gaps in funding in schools and being able to combat economic oppression. We want common sense laws or background checks on guns. We want gun reform. We want gun safety checks. We want gun safety laws. We want to address the mental health crisis here in Wayne County, limiting and helping people get off the streets, helping teenagers that are struggling with drug addictions or alcohol addictions or smoking addictions, being able to get their life on track, and thinking about all the wonderful possibilities are available for all students here in Wayne County, in the state of Michigan, and the United States. So I appreciate you, Olivia, for that question. And kind of in closing with this book, one of the reasons this book was selected was not just to give more tips and tools to help make you guys thrive, but it also gives a sense of, and a little bit personal for me, we've all had low points. I've had low points in my lifetime too. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. But you know what? A little personal story, and this goes back to why I'm so passionate about this group and working with you guys as students, is you never know who's going to empower you, or you never know what's going to be able to come into your life and help you. When I first started doing political advocacy, I was empowered. I was actually going to see my friend's house. I was going to his house on a Saturday morning. No one wanted to pay for an Uber. I didn't want to pay $6, $20 for an Uber to go see my friend. I ended up hopping on a bus, and it took me straight to my friend's house. Halfway in my commute, I met an Army vet. He was a retired homeless Army vet. And this was when I was in 6th grade. And we ended up sitting right next to each other. And one of the things he said to me was, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And one of the things I said was, I didn't know. Most people at 6th grade already have big dreams of what they want to do for a career, but not everyone knows that. And I'm going to pass along the same advice that he passed over to me. You are young, you are strong, you are independent. You are going to be the future of this country. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let roadblocks or bad friends or parents that don't support you or relationship, if people are in relationships, don't let people push you around, because you are your own person. You are your own person. You control your destiny. And that's how we move forward and make change in this world. And with this book, it describes that in depth. So if you're looking to do something, or even whether that's electrician, you want to go into trades, you want to go into politics, you want to go into any career, the motivation here is how to take tips and tools in moving into that direction and being cautious about it, but also taking tips and tools from other people, whether that's your parents. This describes future life lessons. And the life lessons that you're going to learn those over time. I learned my life lessons at a young age with just that one Army vet that was homeless. And it's not just changed my life. It got me into politics. It got me into learning more about government, when at one point I was like, I don't even want to learn about government. It just wasn't thrilling to me. But you never know. One person or just that one statement will give you one life lesson that will change your whole perception on things. I'm not trying to sound like a therapist, but it was a little bit over the top. But getting personal and kind of discussing things with people that you're close with, whether that's your family or friends, they can always give you tips and tricks on how to be a better person or learn about things or other life lessons. This book describes that. So more than welcome, always refer to this book or refer to your peers that will be able to support you. And that's part of the goal why we're focusing on this resolution this year. With that concludes our discussion. Does anyone have any questions on what I said, or any questions on the book, what they thought was good, kind of relatable to my story in the book? What kind of connections can you guys take, from a personal story like mine to a book like this that will give you future life lessons? And Priya, I just saw you join, so I'm marking you down.
Hi, Robert. I
can have a little fun with it. I hear you, Priya.
Sorry, no, I just came from school and I immediately joined with my mom beside me. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Zion, I'm going to actually popcorn it over to you. Do you have anything that you could pass over to your fellow members that would be relatable to kind of my personal story, or even a personal story you have that's relatable to this book, to be able to encourage them?
Honestly, Robert, you covered it all. I really don't have anything to say. I don't have any questions. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to throw you under the bus like that, but I mean, I figured I would let the chair kind of chime in on this a little bit. But one life lesson: if you're going to do something, do it. Be the change while you're still young, because young voices are empowering to most generations. And that's something the senator would also reiterate if we had extra time tonight. Your young voices matter, so be the change while you're still here. That's one thing he reiterated, and I'm passing it over to you guys. Sometimes you have to copy along. Whatever somebody else reiterates that's passionate and they want you to do change, pass it over to somebody else. It's a random act of kindness. Well, with that kind of concludes the book discussion here tonight. I hope you guys learned some stuff, or you guys kind of took into consideration like any other stories that you have to share. It never hurts to share your story or even take tips for life lessons. So with that, Madam Chair, I'm going to pass it back over to you to move on to our next agenda item. And again, thank you guys for all your effort in that book. I really appreciate it. Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
Okay, so the next topic of old business is the discussion of substance abuse and mental health resolution. Robert, are you going to share that on your screen? Do you have access to it?
I'm going to give you sharing privileges tonight for that if you're able to do that. I'm not going to take that risk, especially since I just downloaded it.
Okay.
Does anyone have the resolution that they could present on their end?
I would say I'm on my phone, so my computer
You should have
16 hours
I can
away.
pull it up.
Is anyone on the? Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Kelly.
No problem. Did you want me to share my
I'm going to
screen?
stop sharing my screen. And yeah, you can go ahead and share on screen.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pass over the discussion to Zion for you guys to kick it off. And if you guys have any feedback on it, I'll save my feedback for later because I'm still kind of blown away by it.
Okay. So
is this the right one?
I believe, yes, it is.
Okay.
Wait, let me put my glasses on.
Okay.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
I tried. I'm blind.
Is that good?
A little bit more. Actually, can I zoom my phone? No, I can't zoom my phone. Okay. So this is the resolution. It's actually done, kind of, sort of. The perks, they just have to go in and edit it. But yeah, so I can go through and read it. Actually, I can pull it up on my end. Can go through and read it. We'll read it together. And if you have any input, I'll read it over once. And if you have, just make a note if you have an input or put it in chat, and then we can reconvene after that.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
You received the finished resolve from Needy, right?
If it was what was added into the chat, then yes. I mean, added into the document, then yes. If not, I haven't. Unless she emailed it to me, but I haven't checked my email.
Yeah, it's on the document at the bottom.
So then, yeah, we have received it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll start. Whereas substance abuse and mental health disorders are significant public health concerns affecting millions of individuals worldwide, and whereas with COVID-19, the amount of mental illnesses among the youth has gone up 40%, and whereas substance abuse and mental health disorders often co-occur and can connect with each other, leading to several severe consequences for individuals and society as a whole. And whereas the Wayne County Commission Youth Council recognizes that as of 2022, adolescents between the ages of 12 to 17, at least 19.5% of around 4.8 million people have had a major depressive episode. And whereas statistics indicate an alarming rise in substance abuse among adolescents in our region, with significant implications for their academic achievement, social integration, and overall development, whereas the prevalence of substance abuse among Wayne County youth underscores the urgent need for comprehensive intervention, and support services to mitigate the adverse effects and promote healthy lifestyles. Before I go into the resolve, is there anybody who has something to add or anything of that to the whereas?
Priya, do you have anything you could add to that? I was just about to call on you, actually.
Actually, yes. Right now I'm on my phone. If I would I be able to just type it in when I do get a chance? Because I just don't have my laptop on me right now and it doesn't have any charge. Would that be okay? I'll get it done as soon as possible. By latest tomorrow.
Yep.
Is that okay, Zion? And I tried to reach you out through the other app. It's the Get Me app, but I somehow Group Me app, but I couldn't get a hold of you.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
So the whereas isn't complete, but we're getting that together.
So sorry, just to be sure, I'm adding for the resolve part, right?
No, the resolve part is done.
Could you clarify for which part I'm writing again? I'm sorry.
Which part did you sign up for on Monday?
I actually don't remember. I had an emergency
Priya
on
wasn't
Monday.
actually there.
Oh.
Priya wasn't there for our meeting.
What part do you have information for? Because we can just put that in, or like edit it out, or edit the resolve part if that's what you have stuff for.
I do have stuff for whereas, but I could also do resolved. I just have to just send it to you by tomorrow, and you could just put it in.
Yeah, you can just add stuff to the whereas because the resolve part is very lengthy, so we don't really need anything else for that.
Would you be able to put the document into the GroupMe app again if you don't mind?
Yep, I can after the meeting though, but I can.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay, the resolve. I personally think we need to edit this, because it is very long. So if like something kind of repeats itself, then maybe we could combine the two. This one won't be super duper long because the executive board does have to read it, at the commission meeting. So, yeah. But I can read it right now. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Wayne County Commission Youth Council asks the Commission to endorse collaborative efforts among governmental agencies, educational institutions, healthcare providers, community organizations, and families to address the root causes and consequences of substance abuse among our youth. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council on this day of blank of April 2024 recognizes that the success of students is crippled through substance abuse as they are not receiving the support and resources they need from educational institutions to address their mental health concerns. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council acknowledges the crucial role of after-school opportunities in mitigating substance abuse among adolescents, recognizing that engaging in constructive activities contribute to healthier health lifestyles, and be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council advocates for the expansion and enhancement of after-school sorry, my mom texted me, of after-school programs, clubs, and extracurricular activities in Wayne County schools aimed at providing adolescents with positive outlets for self-expression, skill development, and social interaction. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council requests that all public school districts in the county of Wayne allow students with substance abuse issues and or mental health issues free counseling during school hours to properly address the cause of the abuse and professionally develop methods to cope and or solve the source. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council actively encourages this substance abuse counselor to be made available at all times during the school week despite their other engagements, as well as they must receive thorough training on how to identify abuse, actively provide solutions, and ensure the students receive comforting support during school hours, as well as that students are free of any legal, academic, or unnecessary parental consequences as a result of their seeking help. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council encourages the Wayne County school districts to give families guidance and inform them on preventative measures for their students, as well as offer resources and therapeutic methods to promote soberness in their struggling students, as well as give families access to parenting classes to help attend to their children with care. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council encourages the development of peer meditation programs to provide youth with dignity and a common age understanding of struggles with positive support, as well as deeper consideration for struggling youth and their issues. Now, therefore, be it resolved, and be it further in this resolution memorializing it, requesting to the Wayne County Commission and all school boards located within Wayne County, Michigan. And then it's the sources cited. So okay. Does anybody have anything for that? Like more specifically, someone who worked on that?
If I may, I want to chime in on the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So I see your point on just the section of it where it is a little bit long where it's resolved. So I am going to stand with if you're able to tweak that a little bit and just kind of amend it to where you're kind of tying things in so it's not so long, that'd be great. But I was about ready to send an email to you guys like 2 hours earlier and it's not even ready yet. So you'll probably expect an email from me in about an hour or so. I'd like to thank all the members for all the work that they contributed, even the ones that weren't able to attend our meetings for over the last 3-4 weeks, kind of just drafting this and finding some folks to be able to give some ideas to Zion. Big credits to Needy and Zion and all her executive leadership and tremendous leadership, just trying to empower these members to be able to move forward on this. I'm very impressed. This is, I think, one of the best resolutions I've seen, even though it's a little short and in sections, but it's also gearing to a good cause. And this is a topic that I think is really important here in the county. So Zion, thank you for your tremendous leadership, and you, Needy, for your tremendous leadership, and all the members for all their leadership for being able to create this. So those are my feedback. The only thing I really want to see is maybe the resolve turned down. If that's something that the chair and the members could work on. But other than that, great job. I'm giving you guys some encouragement there. Well done. Well done.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I agree. We need to tweak the resolve because it was very repetitive. A lot of these things could be combined together. We also maybe need to make the whereas section longer. That's my bad. I didn't know it was gonna be this long, but yeah. Yeah. Does anybody on the resolve team, do y'all have anything to say?
I think we can my bad.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I think we can combine these two, like, because they say essentially the same thing without like the date part. And then I like these two. And then I'll be honest, I wrote this part, but I'm gonna like cut it out because I don't think it's like necessary. And then the rest of it I like.
Okay, so Kelly, highlight what, or you can actually, since we're all here, is everybody okay with what she's saying? Yes, no.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so Kelly, you can go ahead and edit it now, just so we won't forget about it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Can I ask who's speaking? Just for
yeah, this is Madison.
Okay.
Is and be it further supposed to end every resolve section?
So after so the first resolve is supposed to say the Wayne County Commission Youth Council on this day of blank blank to blah blah blah. And then after that last, so for the one that Kelly's on right now, the Wayne County Commission Youth Council asks the commission on this day of blank April 2024 to endorse collaborative efforts among governmental agencies, educational institutions, healthcare providers, and families to address the root causes and consequences of substance abuse among our youth. It should say, and be it further, then we would say resolved. So yes, but we technically don't have to do that because the lawyers will go in and edit that for us. So technically we don't have to put that in there, but just for those who are reading, it would be better. But it's not that important for real.
Quick question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How is the presentation process gonna go? Like, how many of us are gonna be reading, or how does that whole process happen?
So in previous years, the executive team, so chair, vice chair, secretary, and social media chair. I think those are yeah. Chair, vice chair, social media chair, and secretary, we would go up to the podium where the commission sits. We would introduce ourselves. So, for example, hi, my name is Zion McCann. I'm the chair of the Wayne County Commission Youth Council. I've been a member for 3 years. I'm a senior at Cass Technical High School. Everybody would go around. We would say that, and then we would read the resolution. We would have separate meetings to establish who's reading what, to break that down.
Okay, cool. And in those meetings, could we like run through it in practice? Just to have everything down?
Yes, that's what happens.
Okay.
Actually, Robert, does the entire executive, because I can't remember. I know last year I read it, but I was vice chair. So does the entire executive team read the resolution, or does the entire executive team just go up to introduce themselves and then vice chair and chair read the resolution?
So I'll testify to this. So most of you that remember me, I was originally a youth council member. So during our presentation, the entire executive team. So for you, Zion, you actually read the resolution for us. I'm not sure why Dearest Searles did not read our resolution last year. Dearest Searles was our previous chair, just for anyone that's wondering.
I read the entire thing.
You read the entire thing. You read almost half of it. So, but you read a portion of it more than Dira did.
Oh, because our resolve, I remember this. Our resolve was longer. Our whereas was very short and our resolve was longer. So I take that back, Noah. The entire executive team does not read the resolution. Only chair and vice chair do. But the entire executive team does go up there and introduce themselves. I do remember that.
And give reports.
Yes, that as well.
And give what?
Okay. We give reports.
Okay.
So there's social media chair, which is going to be you. There's going to be a report that you're going to be giving, and you're going to be giving it to our board. And then we're going to have another member give out another report on an event that we did. And then there's going to be our chair and vice chair that are going to just run through our entire year for meetings and events that were not really that serious.
So when you say I'm going to be giving a report on events, I just talk about one of the trips we had, like at the DIA or something?
Yes. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to forward the recording for a lot of our executive team and just regular members, depending on who gets assigned what role. More than likely, I'll be assigning roles to a lot of you guys. So I'm going to have you guys refer to our presentation last year. Zion, you're going to watch yourself speak all over again. So I'm sorry I have to do it to you, but it's going to be something that'll be informative for a lot of our members that haven't gotten up and speak, and we have a new slate of executive team members. So this will get them more engaged, and this will kind of give them like, oh, this is how this went. So Zion, would you be interested if I did that and just kind of helped out some of our new members?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. So you can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Also, for other youth council members, just so you know, you guys won't just be sitting there. You'll before we read the resolution, you guys will also have an opportunity to introduce yourself, and then afterwards, I can't remember what section of the meeting, but I remember my first year in youth council, we kind of made it a thing where we got up and we thanked the commissioners for allowing us this opportunity, because they do have to vote you, or they have to vote for you to be in the youth council. So we just took that as an opportunity to thank them, and we kind of just transitioned it on for years afterwards. So I mean, it's not mandatory, but majority of everybody does it just to have our names out there and say thank you. that's pretty much.
I think you covered it. If you think you covered everything, Zion, you're more than welcome to move on to the next agenda item. And you can move on to the next agenda item if you don't have anything.
Oh crap!
If
I'm
my mic
muted.
is
I'm sorry. I was muted the entire time. I didn't realize that. I was sitting here talking. Um. That's funny. Um. So yeah, just to kind of summarize. So we're gonna lengthen the whereases, just maybe add two more. And then kind of shorten or combine the resolves. Is that okay with everybody? Just put a thumbs up, say aye, something.
Aye.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, we can move on to the next meeting. Robert, your screen is black.
black.
Okay, it's back. Okay. The discussion of our advocacy day trip in Lansing on March 13th, 2024. Please make sure you have your permission slips in. I just submitted mine today, so I'm kind of a hypocrite, but make sure you turn your permission slips in. Also, I know Olivia asked this question in the parent meeting. In order to get your attendance excused, because this trip is during a school day, in order to get your attendance excused, you have to print out a copy of the permission slip and submit it to your school's attendance agent. The the council, they cannot actually excuse your attendance, but your school can. You just have to have proof of where you were and why you were there. I don't know how everyone's school works, but I have all my teachers sign it the day before just so they can know where I'm going. They'll ask you questions. Just you don't really have to answer them. I don't. But you just have all your teachers sign it and then submit it to your attendance agent. Um, that's just how my school works. I don't know how everybody else's school works, but yeah. Any questions about that? Once, twice? No? Okay. Robert, did I cover everything? I think I did.
You covered half, and I'm going to make this brief because two reasons. My computer bandwidth is not the greatest right now. I mean, I'm in Ferndale, so I'm surprised my bandwidth is not working. And we are a little bit over time, so I'm just going to run through this as fast as I can. So we have a tentative agenda that's going to be scheduled for our Lansing trip. It's not finalized yet, but we are still working out the details. I'm just going to go through kind of piece by piece, kind of the basics of it. So we're going to arrive, most of you are going to arrive at the Guardian Building around 7, and we're going to board the bus right after. We're going to have a small brief, kind of just the roundtable discussion of what's going to happen for the day and kind of just answer any questions. We'll be on the bus until 9:08 when we arrive at the state capitol, and we'll start making our way over to the Michigan House building. We'll be able to have a room specifically set because I know a lot of years that we've had to carry our coats. I know last year we had to carry our items around the Capitol complex. This year we're going to have an opportunity to leave our belongings in a meeting room, the Michigan House of Representatives building. She is going to be helping us with that. So you guys will have opportunities to put your stuff down so you're not carrying stuff around while you're, in Lansing. From 10 a.m. on to 11:30, we're going to have meetings with state senators and state representatives. We're going to be splitting this up into groups just because of the time constraints some of these senators and representatives have. So we're going to kind of balance that together, and we're going to divide the groups up. And we'll have more information on that once we get closer to that date. Or we'll also have sheets that'll go out, and we'll have groups, and we'll kind of announce that while we're on the bus as well. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to also have like debriefs and briefs about that. From 12 to 12:30, about 1-ish, we're going to continue our meetings. And this will be fairly easy because we'll be able to split it off into groups, or we'll be able to attend each meeting. But some of these are going to run 30 minutes, so it's going to depend on time. And then at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a lunch session. We're going to have Representative Natalie Price. We're going to meet in the lobby of the House building where the cafeteria is, and she's going to sit while we have lunch, and we're going to ask some questions. She's going to give us some feedback. If anyone doesn't know, Natalie Price was one of our speakers back in October that came and spoke to us, so she's going to be speaking with us again on our resolution, get some thoughts, some questions, and if any members have any questions in particular to the resolution and any thoughts or anything unrelated, she'll be able to answer those questions in that meeting. So we'll have a very robust discussion. A first of its kind. So you're welcome. This is something I brought to the attention of our representative and our commissioner. We'll be attending the House session, and we're on 120, and we'll be recognized on the House floor by Representative Price and just believe a few other representatives of all the amazing work we're doing and just our presence there. So we're going to have that opportunity as well. 2 o'clock, we're going to have our Capitol tour, and we're going to walk around the Capitol and kind of just get tours of all the offices, some history, and also some spots that some people haven't seen in depth before. 3:21, we're going to board our bus back to the Guardian Building, and we'll be back at the Guardian Building around like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and that's when we'll start dismissal. Does anyone have any questions on the agenda? Again, this is all tentative, so it could change at any time. Seeing none, Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
Next on the agenda is new business, the discussion of gun reform advocacy week in March 2024.
That's me. And I'm going to pass it over to you guys to see what date works best for you guys. But if anyone was here last year, we had a gun advocacy week that was basically had a press release go out, and all students that were in the Wayne County Commission Youth Council as members were going to go to their school and find ways to have drives or outreach opportunities, but also talk with your teachers, your principals, and how important it is to have gun reform or just gun common sense laws in your schools, and asking students' opinions on that. Last year, we did that. I know, Zion, you did that with your class at Cass Tech when I was a member. When I was a member, Southgate Anderson did some type of outreach, but not a whole lot. And that's something we want to continue this year. And we're looking for some time to do it. But I wanted to ask the members specifically, what works best for you guys on an advocacy week if we were to do one in March, which we plan to, but just the time frame. Does anyone have a specific week in mind if they're willing to do this? Because we'll have some more information that comes out.
This is Olivia. For me, if it's in March, I think the best dates would be like the last 2 weeks in March, because for me, my March is super busy with most of my clubs and activities, and testing takes place in March.
Okay, so the last couple of weeks in March. I mean, we're going to have our youth council meeting on the 28th, so.
Hi, this is Peyton. I was gonna say for March, the last week in March is my spring break. So I won't be in school for the last week of March. So the week before that, I think like the 23rd, something like that, something around there. That day would work best, or that week.
I have you just for the second to last week in March. And then either or for you, Olivia, either week.
Yeah, for me, anything past like the 17th of March should be good.
I'm gonna run these. I'll run these dates by our commissioner to see what she sees that's perfect, because nobody wants to use their discretion on trying to plan a week out, because we did that last year and we didn't really get a whole lot of outreach from our school. So we want to try to kick up this and see how it can be better this year. And you don't have to do a whole lot. I mean, as long as you're talking to students or hosting drives or even something over the PA system over that week, that'll work best. But it also gets more students engaged on certain issues like this. So I have the second to the last week in March, and I have the last week in March. Does that sound about right to everybody?
So the last week in March, well, this is Zion speaking. The last week in March is not good because one, that's I believe DPSCD, that's spring break, so nobody will be in school. So yeah, that won't be really good. So I believe the second to last week in March is our best bet. So the 17th or the 18th through the 22nd, because that's our last week of school.
Yeah, last week or last year, when we did it, it was more stuck over the PA system. So I think if we did it like the week before spring break, that'd be like most effective.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw Olivia put in the chat April. So like I said, this is March or April, but we're aiming for March on this. So I'm going to see what I can pull off here, and we can kind of move forward with that once I have more information exactly. But it seems like the second week to the last week in March might work for everybody. So I'll kind of run that by, and then, if that doesn't work for, everyone else's schedule, then we can always look at something in April. And plus, the resolution will be taking place, so that's also a factor we have to take in consideration as well. I mean, if that's the case, then I'll mark that down and I'll put that on my list. Other than that, that kind of wraps up with that discussion. And Madam Chair, floor is yours to pass it over to our next agenda item.
Okay, next is announcements by members. Does anybody have any announcements? Once, twice, no. Okay, our next meeting is March 13th, 2024. 8 a.m. to 5:30. That's our field trip and our advocacy day in Lansing. Please wear your polos and business casual pants. You can wear, because I remember last year it was cold, you can wear a jacket, but once we reach the Capitol building, you have to take that off and you have to wear your polo and the business casual pants. Shoes, just like no Crocs. That's really the biggest thing, no Crocs. You can wear boots, anything of that nature, just no Crocs. Preferably business casual shoes too, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, just no Crocs. Upcoming meetings, Thursday, March 28th, 2024 at 6 p.m. is our next Zoom meeting. Tuesday, April 23rd at 10 a.m. is a meeting in the commission chambers.
Yes, that's our annual presentation.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Before we move on to public comment, I want to be able to kind of address the permission slip thing. If anyone hasn't gotten the permission slip in, please make sure that you have that in as soon as possible. And there's no rush. If you're not able to have access to your email or your cell, you can always text me the permission slip and I'll just mark you down. Just please tell me who you are, and then I can just make sure that's down so everything is kind of just straightforward. In terms of polo shirts, most of you do not have polo shirts, and I'm gonna go out on the limb that we'll be giving out a lot of the polo shirts at the time that we board the bus or we're on the bus. So if anyone's got business casual clothing, that'll work too if you do not have a polo shirt. And we'll also give you guys name tags that say you're a YCCYC member, so that will make it easier for everyone. With that, I will back off and let Zion go back to our meeting. I just wanted to make sure that was out there for all of our members. And I know we got some parents on as well, so I want to make sure that's
Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? Going once, going twice. Okay. Next is public comment. Are there any public comments?
Apologies. I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, we are supposed to be dropped off at the address 500 Griswold Street.
Yes, the Guardian building, yes.
Yes, your parents will need.
If I drive myself there in the morning, is there like somewhere I can park my car until 5:30, or like is that where we can be dropped off when the
We're going to make sure we'll have. So, I'm sorry, our connection's going in and out. So our parking is going to be taken care of for any parents or students that are willing to drive and stay with us for the day. Your parking will be covered. I don't know where it will be. That's one thing I got to figure out. So just bear with me there. But we're going to have that information come out as soon as possible, so everybody's kind of in the loop. I'm going to answer these questions in the chat after, but parking will be covered. We'll get you guys vouchers. So Noah, if you plan to drive yourself, there's no hesitation. You won't have to pay to park. And plus, as youth council members and parents, we had a lot of overlap last year about that, where people were getting charged to park to go into the DIA. That's not going to happen this time. We're going to make sure that everybody's straightforward and that information's out there. So Noah, does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Noah, but we'll make sure we have that covered for you. Okay, now you can call for public comment, Zion, or Madam Chair.
Are there any public comments? Going once, going twice. No? Okay. You scroll down, Robert.
Yes, ma'am. And I see our clerk, Felicia Johnson, or our commission counsel is there as well. Madam, Felicia, if you're able to reach out to me, I think you have my cell, or you can just shoot me an email. So the process with that, so when we're testing the permission slips, obviously that commission counsel will have a record of that, but we have members and parents that tend to send their permission slips in via text or email. So whatever that they send us through my cell number or through our email, you guys will receive a copy as well. So I just want to clear that up. So if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to come off mute, Felicia.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Robert, can you scroll down?
Now you can move on.
Can you scroll down? It just says public comment. I can't see what's after that.
Okay, my screen is black. It keeps acting up. All right, there you go.
Okay, next is adjournment. Can someone make a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is anybody second? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. All right, everybody have a good day.